So, hi everyone that's watching. We are here to talk about the operations manager at the Social Change Agency and the Social Change Nest. I'm Esther Foreman, the chief exec and founder of both organisations, and this is.
I'm Sapna, and I'm the Director of Operations at the SEA and SCN.
So the role will be reporting to Sapna, and I thought it would be quite useful just to give everyone a flavour and a sense of what it's like to the work here, what the role is going to be like, what Sapna's like, what I'm like, what SEA is like. So we're doing a video montage here just about the role. So Sapna, why are we recruiting for this role?
So this is a new role. The two businesses have grown considerably over the last few years, and as a result, we've got lots of systems, processes, finance, compliance in place now, and we're just at the point now that we need to expand the capacity in the operations team to best serve both businesses. So it's a new role, and it will be reporting to me, and it will be supporting the operations across both businesses.
What kind of clients do we have that people will be supporting, this role will be supporting?
So we'll range. So we'll be dealing with the clients in SCA, so the groups that we support through SCN as well. So there would tend to be grassroots organisations, networks, and on the SCA side, it will be organisations like charities, some commercial organisations that we work with, and the work that we're doing will range between kind of contract management to actual support to the grassroots groups. So they might need operational support, they might need support with setting up systems, etc. So it'll be a real range of support that you give to the clients as well.
What might a typical day look like for someone in this role?
I'd say from my own experience, no day will probably look the same. But it'll
It never does, is it?
No day is the same. It'll be a mix, really. So you'll see on the job description that we've given an indication of what the split of the role will be. But you can go from probably spending a day a week on systems and trying to look at how we use our tools and making sure that the team have got the tools to use the systems and processes consistently and efficiently. So we'd be looking at building in processes as well where we need them. So we've got systems in place, processes, but we're obviously growing. And as we grow, we're going to have to make tweaks. We're going to have to introduce new ones. So we're always looking at how we can improve our processes and systems. And this role will really look at how we continue to do that and put in really good reporting structures as well. So we want to make sure that we've got reporting to help us as a senior team as well to run the business and to make effective decisions. So typically you could be looking at a day a week on systems for both businesses. Maybe a day around supporting the compliance and risk management. So we work, as I mentioned, with a lot of grassroots groups, and we have a good framework in place that allows us to assess the risk of supporting those groups. But this role will be responsible for overseeing the day-to-day reviews, making sure that the checks are in place, but also to look at the framework. And as the business grows, as the services change, this role will need to make sure that the framework is growing with it and it supports the growth of the business.
How much do you think that the risk management and compliance is part of this role? I
would say around 25% of the role.
Someone would really have to we love talking about risk. I know you and I can spend hours talking about risk and compliance because of the freedoms that it gives us. And because of that, it's really important to the business that we manage it properly, because then we can manage social impact, or at least get the foundations right, so people are free to go off and do the social impact that needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And we operate in an interesting space as well. So we, to some extent, are creating frameworks that don't exist. And that's in a really interesting space to be in, but you've got to love risk.
You've got to be a bit of a risk geek.
Yeah,
a bit of a risk geek. And like your highlighters.
Exactly. But I think it's like we can support in putting the frameworks in place, but it's really having that eye for understanding how to spot risk as well. So yeah, I'd say 25% of this role is about risk management and understanding and spotting that risk for our groups and the people that we support, and for the business as well, and finding that balance of how do we protect the business, how do we protect our clients and the work that we do.
And in addition to risk, there's also a bit of an emphasis on finance.
Yeah, for sure. So about maybe half a day to 3/4 of a day a week it will be supporting the finance, so kind of our business finance, which is the budgets, the forecasts, the day-to-day invoicing, not the manual effort of producing invoices, but tracking them and making sure the payments are coming in and going out. And also, again, it's about systems for finance as well. So making sure that we have quite complex financial structures, particularly in SCN. So it's making sure that the processes and systems are working and in place so that the flow of money is happening efficiently, and we're tracking it all properly as well.
Very important. We are a complex organization, and I think we need someone that really can live and work in complexity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's important. So actually talking about the type of person, what are the important things for this role? What does a person have to really be considered for this role?
So we've put everything in the job description about the role and the type of experience that we want. And I think we've highlighted most of that in the job description. But what's important to us in the person is obviously a really keen eye to detail. In the stuff we've just mentioned, detail is really important, especially like when you think of finance and risk and process, you've really got to have that eye. I think there's definitely something about someone that brings the experience, but can also step back and just look at how do we do things differently, and kind of brings that curious mind to ask questions like, why are we doing the things that we do? And how do we do them? And then kind of stepping back and thinking a bit creatively about, well, how can we do things differently to support the business, but also the groups that we support. And those groups, they often are so like resource limited. That's not just finance, that's time and capacity. So it's like, how can we do the things that we need to do, but balance it against the support that we give to those groups, because that's quite important. We've mentioned it already, but someone that really understands risk, so the risk geek. So if it wasn't clear from before, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough and recovering. So like I said, it's about making that assessment of like, what is the risk to the business, our work, the groups. And you don't need to have like an in-depth knowledge of the work that we do, but you have to be able to understand how to recognize risk and how to manage it. So that will be really important for this role. And I think also a really good approach with the team and the clients that we work with. So the role will be customer facing, considering it's an ops role. And I mentioned you'd be talking to probably the clients from a contracting perspective, but also there's an element of work that we do in SCN that will be supporting the group. So you're working quite closely to the clients, the groups that we support. So it's really important that you're approachable and understand how to build good rapport. And the approach we use to our work across both businesses is very relational. So we meet our clients where they are, and we understand what their challenges are, what they need, and then we see how we can support them. So it's really key to how we work.
What do you enjoy most about working here, and what do you enjoy most about the operations function?
I mean, I love operations, obviously. I love process and systems. So there's that. But what I love about doing that here is that we really do look at how we can do things differently. And we don't have the expectation that we should just follow the set systems that we all have experience of working in. So whether that's in a big organization, a small organization, we come with the experience, but we're given that space and flexibility to think, how can we do it differently? So obviously we don't recreate the wheel. If something works, let's just use it. But the business really gives you that space to think and change things, kind of gives you that flex and agility to be creative, which I really appreciate. And I think it means that we do the best work that we can, because we take the best bits of what works elsewhere and we add our own little flavors, and it works great.
No, it's true. And we often sort of say that administration and decision making are the two pillars, or queens as we like to put them, of social change. So an operations is just that, is supporting the processes, decision making, all the things that are really important that no one really prioritizes when you're doing social change sometimes. So it's good to know that there's organizations like us out there that can do it and prioritize it. So I mean, I can definitely see the role of the work that we do in enabling people and groups to go out and achieve social impact where they might not have been able to do it before. So, you know, our impact report, our SEN impact report speaks to that story for sure. So you can also see that, you can download that off the website. Speaking of the website, how do people apply for the job? Now they're interested.
Go to our website. You'll see an ad on the Social Change Agency website under vacancies. The application process is to fill out an application form. We do a blind recruitment process. So us as the recruiting panel, we won't see any of your personal details. We'll just see the responses to the questions that we've asked in the application form.
Thanks, Sapna.
Thanks, Esther, and thanks to everyone who's watching, and we look forward to your applications.